Terrence Howard just added more context to why he doesn't play certain roles. Because according to his latest interview with Bill Maher, he turned down the role of Marvin Gaye in a biopic because it's more than just acting for him. And when you look at people like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, LeAnn Rimes and Eddie Cibrian, Hugh Jackman and his new girlfriend, it's clear that it's more than just acting for just about everybody. Which is why Terrence's new podcast is going to be a huge problem for the industry. Because instead of staying silent, the A-list actor is exposing just how people get caught in the Hollywood sauce that ends up destroying their lives. Especially if it's anything like when he was on the PBD podcast.
When Terrence Howard goes to Diddy's house.
But he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him, and he looks at me, and I look at him.
Look here, man.
So Terrence Howard blew the lid off the industry cover-up as the first A-list celebrity to speak on the choices that they're presented with for the so-called fulfillment of their dreams. And he did not hold back.
He did that thing.
He did. He was on the PBD podcast, and the host asked him about, some of the celebrities that had gone on. Right. And what was happening to make these celebrities leave this realm so quickly,
right,
and so early rather. And Terrence, he came right out with it. He said these people, the people he mentioned, like Heath Ledger and I think Philip Seymour Hoffman, and everyone knows the so-called reasons for their passing had to do with substances. And for them to have so much going for them, but to be having that sort of dependence on substances, Terrence said he could only think of one reason for why that would be, and it was because possibility that their man card was gone.
That was phenomenal because people are just really going over and over the fact that Terrence Howard presented something into the conversation that they have not heard, and that's the man card concept. And the men are just excited about this. I was listening to one other blogger's video, and I believe his name is Steve Knight. Steve Knight, he was on it. He was like, now that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You don't hear anybody talking about this. He was very excited about it. There are other people I have listened to who were very excited about it because no one is speaking about this.
Yeah.
And then for an A-lister like Terrence Howard to come forth and hold no bars,
right,
and hold nothing back, and to just put it out there, he says, and a lot of people are connecting what he said with that verse in the wise wisdom that says, what shall it profit a man to gain the whole world but lose his soul? And that's when Terrence Howard said, yes, all these things, they've gotten the Oscar, they've gotten the statue, they've gotten the money, they've gotten the prestige, but then what is it worth? They've lost their integrity. They've gotten all that, but they've lost themselves.
Right.
And everybody made that connection. I'm telling you, honey, you don't have to be a Bible student for everyone to know what that is.
Right.
That is a truth that has been reverberating throughout this world for decades. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing, because what he's presenting it, the fact that this is a choice. Because what happens is the industry, they come up to people and they present them with these choices.
They do.
And the sad thing about it is sometimes people don't see through the lies of it, or they refuse to see through the lies of it, because they want to tell the people that the only way they can go further or get higher or be this level of successful is if they do this certain thing, or if they let this certain thing. Oh, it's just going to be one time. It's just going to be what? But what the people don't end up taking into consideration is the fact that they are already in the room with these people means that they have already achieved some level of success that these people had nothing to do with. So they don't need them to go higher because they got there with their God-given talents anyway. But they let these people whisper into their ear, which is why another scripture that's so important, take heed what you hear, and not standing in the counsel of the ungodly or sitting in the seat of the scornful or sinners, because these people that much talking in their ear, that constant, hammering and whispering at people, trying to make them think that it's something outside of themselves that's going to get them to the top.
Exactly.
And that they can achieve that through doing someone else's bidding.
Exactly.
And Terrence made it clear. He says he's not bending over for anybody.
He made that perfectly clear because he spoke about the man and the reason that their production of that lifestyle is so strong, and that's the spiritual energy of it. And he spoke about the spiritual energy that we come here with, that is very sacred and that is very sought after,
right? Because
when they allow themselves to be in these environments, whereas that's what's taking place, that takes a little bit more of your energy. Every time they put themselves in that position, a little bit more of their energy is taken. And there is something to be said for a shift in the energy that you have, because there was another program that shows every little piece of your soul, your vibration, your energy, your substance is nibbled away at when you put yourself in this vicinity. That's why you spoke about that word that says, do not sit in the seat of the scornful.
Right.
And that's what these people do. And this takes a little bit out of them each time.
It does. And it's so interesting because they get to this point where they're sitting and listening, whatever that is, because their desire for their dream or for this success that's been painted before them is greater than that. At that point, the integrity sometimes that they feel, because they want to tell themselves, oh, I'm in this room for a reason, or I can sit here and not have to deal with any of that, or I'm smarter than this, I'll be able to see through the trick or whatnot. But they're sitting in that room because they have made that desire for success greater. And Terrence, one other thing he said that was pivotal is like there should be no greater desire than to be a man, or basically to be what you've been created to be by the Most High God.
Exactly.
And when there anything else overtakes the desire of just fulfilling God's purpose in your life, that's when they open themselves up to all sorts of things. And in his example, he gave the example of, he's already made it. He's been in these rooms before. He's known as an actor. So Diddy approached him with under the guise of wanting some acting coaching.
Yes.
And so Terrence is like, okay, sure, why not? He's an actor. He can coach this dude. That's fine. This is Diddy. He's used to seeing him in the music videos with the women, and he's singing about other women. So he's not thinking anything but, oh, this is gonna be acting coaching. It's another network. It's a connection. So he goes to Diddy's house for this acting coaching. They meet up, and so Terrence is waiting, because usually when you want acting coaching, it's because there's a script that's been presented to you, and you want to find the best way to, go at the script. You want to find what the motivation is.
Right.
So he's sitting down waiting for Diddy to present this script.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Diddy sitting across from Terrence, just staring at him.
That was so funny. That was so funny because Terrence said, and he's just looking at me. And he's just looking at me. And I'm like, can you all imagine sitting up there and this man just looking at you like he wants to pounce on you at any minute? I mean, that is really the way Terrence made me look at that. I'm like, and he did it so he was looking around. It's like, this man is just sitting up here looking at me.
Exactly.
That must have been horrifying.
Exactly.
I mean, not for Terrence, because Terrence, I mean, this man, hey, he don't play. But it would have been horrifying if you can imagine yourself in that, and this man just sitting up there looking at you. That's creepy.
And it's because it's a power play, too.
Wow.
Because he was waiting for Terrence, and I can imagine many others probably have been in a situation like this, where they've been invited into this room thinking it's under one guise, but then something else is occurring. There's something else under the scenes.
Yes.
So he was waiting to see what Terrence was gonna do.
Yes.
Like, is his hunger so great that he's gonna make this move? He was waiting to see, what his end was gonna be to get Terrence to do what he wanted him to do.
That's amazing. That's a wonderful observation. It was a power play.
It was a power play. And so then Terrence was like, okay, so something else. He invited him over another time to listen to his music.
Right.
Because Terrence does music. So he was like, okay, well, yeah, here, I want to hear some of the music that maybe we could work on something. So again, Terrence not really thinking about it. Maybe he just thought that first visit, okay, that was weird. Maybe that's just how he acts. Maybe he was feeling us out, seeing if we could work together with something.
Because this man ain't thinking along those lines.
Right.
This is the man.
Exactly. And so he goes there to get in the studio. Same thing happens again. Diddy's just staring at him. So then,
creepy.
The next time, his assistant now tells Terrence that, oh, Diddy calls, he wants to hang out with you. And then Terrence is like, for what? Because the last 2 times, all he did was sit and stare at him. It's like, what is that? What is this?
This is too funny. Oh my goodness. It's like, for what? He's just sitting there staring at me. I don't want that. What?
And so his assistant, I guess he's around more of this. His ears are more open because, probably Terrence was probably doing some math equations or something. He was thinking about that. But his assistant has his ear to the ground and is like, well, I think Diddy wants to, what with you.
Oh, wait a minute. That's funny. Wait, Terrence was probably doing some math equations or some science, talking about the universe. So he was not thinking about that.
So his assistant had to school him on that. Man, this is what's known around town about this dude.
Oh, my God.
And so from that point forward, Terrence said, oh, is that what that was?
Oh, my God.
So going forward, he knows he's not gonna have anything to do with Diddy.
Yes.
And that's right. It's when those things are in front of you.
That's it.
And that was such a righteous decision, and a decision made with integrity, because it doesn't matter what Diddy represents as far as the industry is concerned, or whatever Hollywood producer it was, because Terrence said there were other men who actually made the direct approach to him, Hollywood producers. So, and he had to be like, I will. Man, he would put the pause on them. He said he would put the pause on.
Look here, man.
Oh yes, he said it.
So it's basically he stood by his integrity, and no matter what those people represented as far as success was concerned, he knew he didn't need to be around those people. And once people, it's like they always say with that term, when people show you who they are, believe them and get away from them if that's not something you're trying to be on. Because the longer you keep subjecting yourself to them and to their persuasion.
Exactly.
It's like how water smooths away the rough edges on stone. That constant persuasion from them,
putting yourself in their presence.
Exactly. It's like how women first they say how they weren't attracted to a man, but they hung out with them, and they continue. Next thing you know, they're in a relationship with this man who they never even liked the look of.
I've heard that so many of these beautiful women have said, I wasn't even attracted to him like that. Exactly. But they let this man stay in their vicinity, their
whisper
proximity,
in their ear,
and it soon became more malleable to them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, well, he's not so bad. That's that same thing that I was trying to say earlier. It's taking a little bit of their energy each time.
Exactly. So Terrence really, he completely blew the lid off of it, because it's about the choices that people make. Now, Diddy and these people out there, of course, they are all the way wrong for even trying to connect someone else's dreams and desires for success with some sort of wrong thing that they have to do.
Mm-hmm. They're making the decision to say yes to whatever the person is presenting them. They're making the decision. Of course,
been a choice.
These people are wrong, but they're making the decision. It's like, yes, they're wrong for putting it as if that, oh, this is the only way you succeed. But the people are making the decision.
Exactly. And then sadly, for some of those people who think that they can, okay, I can find the trick, I can maneuver through this, they end up in a situation where now it's not their choice.
Exactly.
Because they continue to put themselves in those people's presence.
That's right.
And what Terrence really highlighted was that it all starts with the choice. And once you see what's up, remove yourself from that choice.
And that's exactly what he did. That's it, and that's all.
All right, let us know what you think in the comments. Remember to like, subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.